tune,
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 tune, tune.
Play us a tune, play us a tune, play us a tune.
If you asked me at the beginning of senior year, I would have told you absolutely nothing. But tonight, possibly the greatest night of my life, I have changed my tune, my tune, my tune.
No pressure.
Let's put on some tunes, some tunes. That always dials down the pressure.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Fires!
I've tuned into the soldier's frequency.
Scylla is en route. ETA 0600 hours at the Southwest Bay.
Work.
You make it sound like using an enhanced exoskeleton to fight crime and save the city is a Looney Tune idea.
If you could hack a keyhole hexagon satellite, you could tune the quad band to search for it.
Which is what you've been doing for the last 5 minutes.
We will keep updating you as information comes in. So stay tuned to
WYVS.
the location for this is where the dome intersects with the 6th Street Bridge. For further updates, stay tuned to WYBS.
Dancing king prancing down his blood-stained halls to the tune of a twisted demon monk.
Yeah. Let's not forget it's got some really catchy tunes.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Yeah, it's completely out of tune with the wind chimes.
attract,
attract, attract,
Attract, attract.
It means to attract notice, attract notice, attract notice or attention.
You don't know how to attract a man, attract a man, attract a man. I do. That's something I always
You just buried my father. I'm not trying to attract a man.
I'm not talking about today, dummy. I'm just saying this is something.
I have a man. All right, I have a man.
We need to make the honey pot to attract the bees, to attract the bees, to attract the bees, to attract the bees. We need to offer them.
You're a good-looking guy. I'm sure you attract a lot of young ladies. Why bother with porn when you can have the real thing?
Oh, see, it's not the same thing.
They lied about everything. But just because the lies are shocking and they attract a lot of attention, it doesn't necessarily make them true.
Let's not attract attention. The American spooks are relatively civilized. It's the Russians who should be keeping an eye on.
During our run-in with Martin, Clyde and Martin, I was tinkering with something to help attract unbound atmospheric electrons.
Like a grounding?
It's quite funny. I'll admit that if I ever wanted to attract a man, I'd steer clear of those clothes and that hat.
Last read a newspaper. Are you trying to attract my attention ahead of the rest, madam?
North Yorkshire town? Why should we attract any attention?
Well, that's their problem. It doesn't have to be ours.
This is insane.
You've obviously done something to attract their attention.
Like what?
People will be standing around looking, just walk out. Don't run, that'll attract attention. Just calmly walk out like your business is done there.
considerable,
Considerable,
Considerable.
Considerable. Considerable.
I'm a considerable gambler. I'm a considerable gambler. I'm a considerable gambler.
Amber ran off with a considerable sum of money, much of which I have a pretty fair claim to. Considerable sum of money, much of which I have a pretty fair claim to. Considerable sum of money, much of which I have a pretty fair claim to.
As a person who spent a considerable portion of his life incarcerated. Facial dilapidation, still some larva infestation, considerable trauma from animals. You can see the tears.
Owing to his considerable fortune and my not inconsiderable knowledge, he has now assembled the most important collection of impressions.
If this was arson, and that's a considerable if.
The gauge.
It's conceivable that Zhang could use his considerable influence to single-handedly end China's purchase of the U.S. debt.
No, and neither does Bracken. Though he spent considerable resources trying to recover it, as did I, for over a year with no luck.
He's planning a bioweapon to take you out.
That's a considerable amount of work to go to.
Pardon?
I come from considerable wealth. In exchange for a little kindness, I can offer tremendous compensation.
If Mr. Noshimori decides to pull up stakes and move his considerable business ventures elsewhere, do you have any idea what will happen to the local economy?
I came for the photos of the writing on the victim's body. I've been asked to use my considerable skills to mine the words for possible clues.
If you'd care to put your considerable skills to use, there's a place for you among my merry men.
Okay. Well, then there's a considerable amount of paperwork to be gathered in that case.
Inevitable.
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 But endings are inevitable. Inevitable. Inevitable.
Past surgery.
Okay. I had just about enough of this.
Whoa! It was inevitable. It was inevitable. It was inevitable. Samantha would develop complications.
You know, you're only prolonging the inevitable. The inevitable. The inevitable.
As an attorney, were insufficient to clear Iris's good name, or was their appearance as inevitable as your yen for the spotlight is pathetic?
No matter what happens in that ring, the results of any fight is inevitable. What Zeus sees, he kills.
Do you remember when Miles said that it's inevitable that this will fall apart, that it's destined to implode?
You should be training for the inevitable fight that's looming.
All your threats of war, they merely delay the inevitable, causing you to forfeit the opportunity you have.
You want a war. War was inevitable. I struck first so we would have the advantage.
He did leave quickly, didn't he?
You only delayed the inevitable, Gabriel.
Women must get the vote, mustn't they, Branson? Why does the Prime Minister resist the inevitable?
Politicians can't often recognize the changes that are inevitable.
Times people question me about my father.
So what? It doesn't make it right.
No, but it makes it inevitable.
Right, let's mount up.
That is none of your concern. But disrupting our operations and continuing to obstruct the inevitable can only result in more pain and suffering.
You elected me to represent you, but I couldn't forestall the inevitable. The shipyard was closing.
Capacity.
Capacity.
Capacity. Capacity.
Capacity.
This capacity has never been a detriment to my work.
I mean, now that you can't. Not that that reflects on you in any negative capacity. Negative capacity. Negative capacity. But I have this little Vesson-type problem.
Security will be taking point on this investigation. NYPD will act in a support capacity. In a support capacity. In a support capacity.
You cannot be involved in this at all, even in your private investigator capacity. Capacity.
Sir, we never would have gotten this far without...
Oh, no, actually, she's right. Rules.
You letting the bad guys stay alive this year has filled the jails up to capacity.
That's neat to know. Suffice it to say, I have need of a man of your capacity.
Thinking about this. I seem to have an increased capacity for learning right now.
How do we know you read all these books?
Use your hands. You're you because of your brain. It's your brain's capacity to process information that makes you who you are.
I've given further consideration to your rebuke regarding my capacity for niceness.
Now, since you calculated the capacity of my guns, I've endeavored to improve Florence's odds.
I don't have the authority. In your capacity as Chancellor. You know what?
Nina's not for sale in any capacity. Not now, not ever.
Please.
Even if the backstays hold at such an angle, and I wager they won't, the load on the sails will exceed capacity and she'll dig it hard at the bow. She'll hold.
Organic.
Organic. Organic.
Organic.
Organic.
It made out of organic moon beads?
No,
The stone reacts to anything organic. Anything organic. Anything organic. The bigger the target, the bigger the power surge.
Case was interesting.
It's not organic. It's not organic. It's not organic. It's not mysterious.
The end of primitive organic life and the dawn of a more advanced age.
What was that? It's organic. It's organic.
Yeah, whose products are toxic and harmful.
As well as established organic companies, but...
Where are the blueberries? I told you like 2 days ago. The organic blueberries, not the conventional blueberries. I can't use them in the shit.
The new Brown system stands for biodegradable, recyclable, organic, wet, and no idea.
And everything is certified organic, homeodynamic.
There's a cold pressed juice bar, organic salad station.
I know.
What's that?
It's some kind of organic particulate residual. I found it on the floor in here.
Okay, kids, for lunch we have organic chicken, a fresh kale salad, and a juice bar with beets and cukes and ginger and carrots ready to be ground down into their essential goodness.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Whatever. Whatever.
Whatever.
I need privacy.
Because your son?
Yeah.
Like whatever you think you owe Keegan, it's just going to destroy the time that you have left with Will.
Who runs the new office? So I just want to say, whatever happens, I hope you crash and burn.
Faith. That whatever the other's doing, it's for a good reason.
I don't know how it is you found me, but whatever it is you want, I'm not interested, excuse me.
3 pages, typewritten, single space, devil's in the details of whatever you observe.
I don't know, you call me old-fashioned or whatever, but that's just not something that I would want my wife to perform, okay?
Believe about you.
You believe whatever you want. That's what everyone else does.
I like you here.
Well, I'm on board with whatever you want to do, but you better be at my wedding, woman.
Well, if you let Irene and the kids go, I'll do whatever you want.
I want you to think very carefully about what you're going to say to me next.
Typical. Typical.
Typical.
Typical. Typical.
Pretty typical stuff.
Well, it's not typical to me, sir. Typical to me, sir. Typical to me, sir.
Bob Cleverly was a typical football coach that you loved but feared too, and
we're just typical people.
God damn, this is so typical of you.
'Cause I'm a fucking coward.
Typical, I guess. Come on, Don.
Very much the typical American family.
Violated that code. In a typical superhero, that would trigger a crisis of faith.
It's typical. You always take me for granted, Jim.
You haven't started packing yet. That is so typical, but no worries, I will help you.
Last night, he looked so well. Of course, would happen to a foreigner. It's typical.
Don't be ridiculous.
What was your shift?
It was fine. Typical.
What is it, Matt? What do you always say to me? Fine. Typical.
Distinctive.
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 Oh, come on. The accent is distinctive. I produced an album in San Juan.
Exactly. And you're gonna follow in the footsteps of all those great warriors. Every one of them had a distinctive musical theme.
I needed something bold. Distinctive. I think so.
And he drove a very distinctive car. It was a
Gold VW Bug.
Note the distinctive shape of the wound, the depth.
His scars. There's a patch of them here. Very distinctive.
Yeah. Dreamy. Okay. What else? Piercings, jewelry, distinctive articles of clothing. Come on.
Oh, and he had a distinctive striped tie. Crimson and navy with gold triangles across the stripes.
And how about his clothes? Do you remember anything distinctive about them?
I'm a distinctive man.
I don't think Mr. Raymond and I are as distinctive as we had hoped.
The bottle.
Bright orange has a pretty distinctive color.
It is.
Antoine's description's at all the checkpoints now, but I don't hold out much hope. The distinctive part of the description is his height.
Beat.
Beat.
Beat. Beat. Beat.
Tell you the truth, that's why I stopped playing him in tennis.
You beat him at tennis?
Of course not. It's John freaking McEnroe.
Your boss beat him to remind you who's in charge. My boss beat him for fun. Beat him for fun. Beat him for fun.
Give me that. I'm gonna beat you blind, boy, I swear to God.
Take about 90 seconds to get back down to the ground floor.
I bet you could beat that.
Yeah? Why?
If I remember right, you beat a man to death.
He stole from me.
Relax.
Clark. Beat it, Murphy.
Well then, have a good one.
You just want me to keep driving or what?
My father beat me with a riding crop when he found out he had the opinion tree.
Patient precedes you, youngest woman in the NYPD to make detective. Beat me by 6 weeks.
With her stupid-ass file of evidence, and I told her to scram, get out of here, beat it! And if I ever see your face around here, you're gonna regret it. I told her.
Beat me pretty good before. Any better now?
We missed one. Don't beat yourself up about it. If you hadn't gotten us through that gauntlet. But if he's just agreeing with you so he can beat this DUI charge, you got left holding back.
I don't wake up every morning with the expectation that I'm gonna bat 1,000, Chief.
Accurate.
Accurate.
Accurate. Accurate.
Accurate.
Were nothing to worry about. They weren't a problem. So I just thought I was being accurate.
Experiment was conducted at your farm?
It was.
In your barn?
Yes.
And this experiment led to your conclusion that the police investigation was accurate.
That's correct.
No. What Foster said is accurate.
Why did we subpoena this again?
Don't worry about it.
Was this an accurate depiction of the events, Officer Sutton?
Yes, it is.
As you can see, Your Honor, they're highly prejudicial.
And highly accurate. Overruled.
I spent like $85,000 on IT when I could just do it in a few hours.
Humble much?
To be accurate, that was me making fun of the law firm, not me, you know.
I don't know.
But there have been civilian deaths. Not intentional civilian deaths, accidental.
Yes, our drones are accurate, but we can't control everything that happens on the ground in Afghanistan.
In fact...
Hotel financier, the one you slept with while we were married.
Eli.
What? I'm being just as accurate as the press will be.
You know, this is getting messy. Maybe I should just back off.
No, Stacy, give us a minute.
Sure.
Got about 18 feet-ish. His information was accurate.
Well, he's the enemy, right?
Maybe I should just make everything up. Probably be as accurate as what you're giving me.
What is it you want to hear?
To compare this to your life.
I get it, Maz. I'm a pawn. Your analogy lacks creative thinking. You're upset because it's accurate.
It's an electrical wiring map, Saeed. I'm not sure it's as accurate as you think.
Objective.
Objective. Objective. Objective.
Objective.
Maybe your rating is not so objective.
You know what? I better be on my way.
Castle may be right. Sarah was the objective.
I'm not concerned with his feelings. I'm concerned with the objective.
We seem to be pretty good at that.
The phantom device can't mask a radio broadcast. Our mission objectives will be compromised.
What are our mission objectives?
To remain undetected, of course.
Oh, wow. He is hot. I'm not going to lie to you, I don't think I can be objective anymore. I'm rooting for that guy. I want him to win.
The game can only be won by pursuing seemingly opposing objectives.
Unnecessary noise to cover the thief's actual objective. Martial art commonly known as Zen archery. The objective is to achieve mushin, a state of mindless...
Castle, I'm sorry, but you can't be objective on this one, so I'm gonna have to pursue it on my own.
She's my mother, which is exactly why someone needs to take a close, objective look at her. What do they want with you?
What all assassins want, to terminate their objective.
Oh, that's crazy.
Especially for you. Microfragments attracted to kinetic energy. Firestorm was tonight's main objective, but getting you, that's just gravy.
Mean punch.
Let's assume you were here to stop him. We still don't know his objective.
No,